Well, it's happened. Zohran Mamdani, a Shia Muslim, and becomes the youngest mayor in New York City history in the last 100 years. He predictably beat Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa, and the Republicans didn't have any really threat regarding this race, so they expected to lose, and they did resoundingly. And of course, predictably, just as I thought, all the evangelical Christian nut jobs came out and slandered Mamdani in the last couple of days. And today they're crying their tears. They're the meme that they use against the left, the heavyset women crying in the street, screaming in the air. Well, that's what they're doing now. And I take no pleasure in describing their pain because I don't vote. I'm not left and I'm not right. I'm not brainwashed or propagandized regarding any political or human ideology. Now, I do find the one criticism of Mamdani to be quite fucking ironic, and I'm going to show you what the fuck I'm talking about. There is this issue that Mamdani is a Muslim. Now, in the last couple of fucking days, I've been seeing all these memes and gifs and criticisms of Mamdani going to be a man who's going to impose Sharia law, and that New York City forgot about 9/11 altogether, connecting Mamdani to be a jihadist of some sort, that he's a Wahhabi, that he's a terrorist, and that New York City will be a safe haven for terrorists. Here's the fucking irony. It's coming from Trump supporters. You know, MAGA, make America great again. Well, let me remind you who this guy is. Now, for those who don't know, this is Muhammad al-Jolani, Muhammad Abu al-Jolani, also known as Ahmed al-Shara currently. He was once the leader of al-Qaeda in Syria, which was renamed to Jabhat al-Nusra, which was renamed to Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. And it was the United States, along with the coalition partners like Israel, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia, that funded a secret covert operation led by the CIA under General David Petraeus called Timber Sycamore, in which they funded groups like this to overthrow the Assad regime because Israel and the Gulf pressured the United States to do so because it fits with their overall foreign policy narrative. For the Saudis, it was based on religion because they're Sunni and Syria is Shia. Well, for Israel, it's basically going to the Oded Yunan plan or the Greater Israel Project, which coincides with one another about the expansionism and the fragmentation of Arab states in which it deems a threat. This is not a conspiracy, it's a fucking reality. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Abu Mohammed al-Jolani is now the president of Syria, and his terrorist organization, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, is now prominent in the government of Syria. And why do I talk about this issue right now? Because for those MAGA people and for those right-wing pundits, people like Anthony Camilla, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Megyn Kelly, Glenn Beck, and all these other racist, fake evangelical Christian nut jobs, right? They want to say that Mamdani is a terrorist, that he's going to change New York City into a fucking safe haven for terrorism, right? Well, look at your boy here. Wow, who's the fuck is that? That's your boy, Donald J. Trump. There he is. And who the fuck is this? That's Abu Mohammed al-Jolani. Well, there you go. Al-Jolani, Trump, and I don't know who that is, but they're in Saudi Arabia. They were there to discuss Gaza, of all things. So there you have it. I think that's Mohammed bin Salman. I'm not too sure. But here's Trump. Here's Jolani. They have met. Your boy is in the same room as this terrorist, shaking hands with him, meeting with him, and the like. That's your boy. Your boy was with this guy. I fucking love the hypocrisy of you people, right? It's almost as if I went to a bunch of Democrats and said, "Oh, you're about the anti-war crowd. You're the progressive crowd." Meanwhile, they support one of the biggest wars in human history, Russia-Ukraine, in which the CIA and the NATO alliance backed the right-wing separatists in Ukraine, gave them weapons, and still they fucking failed in their endeavor. Now, Trump had met with Abu Mohammed al-Jolani back in May of this year, and is trying to normalize ties with the Syrian interim president Abu Mohammed al-Jolani and the terrorist network Hayat al-Sham. And the meeting was based on the Gulf Cooperation Council, the GCC, which is the leadership in Saudi Arabia's capital, which is fucking Riyadh. And it was on that day he dropped all the sanctions on Syria. So, in other words, Trump basically is supporting a terrorist and a terrorist organization in Hayat al-Sham dropped the sanctions and said, have an entire country. Now, this guy basically is not reformed. His organization is not reformed. They actually slaughtered. The first thing they did was slaughter all the Alawites and claim they were Assad supporters, and while at the same time slaughtered Christians. But none of you fake ass fucking evangelical Christians, you fake ass MAGA people, and I'll call you out. I dare you to come to my page and debate me on this issue. You're fake. And the reason why you fake is that you can say whatever, Mamdani's a socialist, a communist, whatever. Fuck him. He's not changing anything here in New York. I know that. One man can't change it. It needs millions of people to make that change. And if you think New York is the problem, let me show you the fucking ghettos that reside in the red states, the most illiterate, backwards fucking states on the earth. Right? And you have the nerve to talk about New York City. Now, I live in New York City. I admit that I don't like going down to Times Square. It's fucking packed. It's overpriced. It's expensive. Crime is, really through the fucking roof. But guess what? We're still one of the economic capitals in the world. People love coming here. And there's a great cohesion within people. Sure, with the many people that we have, we're going to have a higher rate of crime than, say, Alabama. But we're not illiterate. We're highly educated. And we have a sense of community. Just like Alabama has a profound sense of traditional community, great food, kinship, but they also have their problems. You fucking understand where I'm going with this? If I can highlight the good and bad, every state's going to have an equal or close to an equal amount of good and bad. But you would think that these right-wing MAGA people think that New York now is going to be a haven for criminality and Islamism. When your president, this warmongering, illiterate, backwards piece of shit, is shaking hands with an actual Islamist terrorist. Don't come on and propagandize other people, because they're going to be people like me that's going to correct you on the issue. And it's fascinating to me to see all these right-wing comedians, right-wing pundits, even profound intelligence officials, pro-Zionist, pro-nationalist, keep it white, keep it right, let's keep it Christian, fuck Islam, it's incompatible with the West. Meanwhile, they support these Kahanist nut jobs in Israel and the fucking nut jobs in the Trump administration that are, 3 wars, by the way, currently. Yeah, he's anti-war. He fucking fooled all of you, just like every other president before him fooled all the fucking rest of you. Now, this is not just a channel bashing the right. I bash the left all the time because you deserve it for allowing yourself to be propagandized, for looking at yourself like an enemy. You're the fucking same. You're a hypocrite. That's all you are. And I'm here to call you out on it. That's what I'm doing here. So to call Zohran Mamdani a terrorist You're a fucking hypocrite because your boy had supported a terrorist and actually continued to support a terrorist by releasing sanctions on a terrorist safe haven in Syria. Meanwhile, ignoring actual intelligence about a real terrorist organization as well growing in Afghanistan in Al Qaeda. Nobody's talking about that because the Trump administration doesn't want to hear that. They want to talk about what? What do they want to talk about? Ukraine, China, Iran, right? You don't want to hear about Afghanistan because you've been browbeaten for the last 20 fucking years about a war that didn't produce anything. Blame that on the State Department fully, not on Department of Defense, because if it was up to the Department of Defense, Afghanistan would be fucking glass and the Taliban would be destroyed. But we have innocent people in Afghanistan, so we can't turn it to glass, can we? Israel would love to turn every fucking Muslim country into glass. That's what the government is made of. The fucking right wing religious extremists like Ben Gavir, right? These, kahanists or terrorists. That's who you back. And you created the people like Nick Fuentes and all the other idiot anti Jews, Kanye West, all these fucking retards, idiots. You people of the left created these fucking idiots with your antagonist, profound fucking arrogance. With your green hair, cutting your dicks off, thinking you're a woman. You're ridiculous. This is everyone's lost their fucking minds here. But the hypocrisy is the same. And you all share that. So that's all I came to say and to share my thoughts on the subject. I just find it highly disgusting that you're going to be racist toward a group of people who fucking actually 95%, 96% of the Islamic world shares no affiliation with the jihadists. Meanwhile, the jihadists are supported by who? The US government, Israel, the Gulf, and Turkey. Maybe you should show your disdain for the very people who you fucking support.